take interview with you, and then you're just going to follow that script. And my job is I'm supposed to find out as much information, like initial intake information on the case.
Okay. And so as far as like when you're saying with the script, it's not like me reading certain lines.
No.
It's more
Yeah.
of like,
Right.
this is the background and I
Yeah,
kind of...
and you can refer to it. I mean, so as our professor said, like, I did not read what you said. I don't know. I only read the top part of like who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing. So you can take it with any directions you want. And then you can see the timing on there too. So it's supposed to be about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if we even get to the end. But it's what I'm trying to do because I know my name isn't necessarily right.
From my understanding of it is that, you know, I am, even though it's the person harmed, and with restorative justice it's for the lower risk cases. So basically anything that's medium or high would go straight, for criminal court, whatever that is, but maybe things can be settled through this instead.
Yep.
Okay.
That's usually so for this
settlement.
Right. So in this component, as I understood what we worked on in this chapter, it's supposed to be assessing to see, is this a case where you would be open and have capacity to be able to engage? That's my part. You're just going to be talking about what's going on.
Yeah.
And then after we do all this too, then I'll be processing that based on this, could this person be, other persons who may be named, and then like what my process would be. But it's really, I guess, for her just to see how to do the intake interviews.
Yes. Okay. One more thing I just have to double check. Okay. Okay.
Are you Riley? You're right. Okay, because my warrant says Riley Short, who's come into the office and demanded to see someone. She must talk about somebody named Teddy Danson.
Yes.
But the victim, but it says here the victim is Liz Lyon, and Teddy's the defendant. So I'm not sure. I don't know what your part is. So that's one of the things I'm going to be trying to determine, because I didn't get. It says on mine, you didn't get to read the full file. Well, that's not good.
Right.
But I also know sometimes when they're backed up, it's you got 15 minutes. So yeah. Madam Director, whenever you're ready.
Ready when you are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sue. I work with the Court Diversion Program. How are you today?
Not great. I'm not gonna lie. I was referred to through the state attorney's office to try with you folks, because to say I'm frustrated is the least of it. So I was told through them, because I have been waiting for a phone call for months from the state police on what's been happening. Nothing. And so, yeah, they were nice when I called the state attorney's office trying to get some answers on what is going on, is anything moving forward, and they recommended you. So here I am.
Well, thank you for coming. First, may I ask, how would you like me to address you today? What name, or how would you like me to call on you today?
Just Riley's fine.
Riley's fine? Okay. And you may call me Sue.
Okay.
Thank you, Riley. So, Riley, can you tell me what your part in this scenario that has taken place with Liz and Mr. Dawson is?
Yeah. So, I have many horses, not only of my own, but I also have, boarding areas for other people. I've been doing this for a long time. And one day, this is upsetting, but I noticed one of my favorite horses. She wasn't mine, but her name is Starlight. And I noticed she was out in the field before I even let her out. She escapes. She would escape sometimes, and I was calling for her, and nothing. So I called louder, and it hit that there's something wrong. So I ran to her. She was dead. There was all of this blood that I saw her in, and there was a bullet hole, and what makes me really pissed off is that I know it's the neighbor. I know it's Teddy. We've had many problems. I've had to call the police. So Joe is the father. He's doing his best with 3 kids, and Teddy's the youngest, and he's a troublemaker. And there has been numerous times where they're hunting on my area of property, so I'm pretty sure Teddy did it.
So based on some of your past histories with Teddy, you think that he was... When your horse was shot, what happened? How did you proceed in dealing with that?
So, I had to call the police. They did have a vet take an autopsy to try to figure out, cause of death, if there's anything else that maybe we didn't notice. But that's basically where it left off. And I have not heard from the police. It's been a few months. Nothing. I understand everyone's busy. I understand that there's things that happen, but what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to sleep at night knowing that my other horses can be in danger? I got security cameras to try to keep an eye, but for what I know, he's scot-free. There's nothing happening to him, so what's to stop them from doing anything else? Obviously, me calling the police isn't going to work. Like, what needs to happen?
Yeah. What is your relationship with Liz Lyons, who's noted in the file as the victim of this particular situation that has occurred?
So she's the one who owned Starlight, and
she boarded Starlight at your farm?
And she was the owner, and of course I had to be the one to call. It's the last thing I wanted to do, so I called, and she was notably upset, and so was I, and, she has, moved on in life with certain things. She's much younger, and she's moved away, so she has not returned calls from me since then, so that's pretty much it.
Yeah. What you mentioned Teddy and Teddy's father and family. What is your relationship or interactions been with the family?
Horrible. That's all I can say.
Across all the family. Yeah.
For the most part, Teddy the most. There have been times where I hear late at night where, there's lots of yelling, and there's times I've debated on calling the police on that, but it was more of the things on my property.
Yeah.
It's I feel for Joe for being a single dad of 3, but that doesn't make it okay. So, yeah.
So as Liz is the named party of injury because of her horse, you also have a connect because you were the boarding site for the horse, and you feel that it was Teddy who did this. What would be a resolution that would be acceptable to you in addressing this crime?
That's a great question. So far, just something as far as charges, something that would show him, I don't know what the flexibility is with the law and what options are realistically out there, but it's something that would, pardon my French, but wake his ass up. It's like, oh, I need to stop messing with this place. Go put my crap somewhere else. Anything. I guess I'm just open to options and hearing what is available to me for if there's, God forbid for other people, anything else that's happened like this. Do you know options as far as what happens in these types of things?
There are several possibilities. One of the things that we're looking at right now is the coming together of yourself, possibly Liz, if not Liz, you and Teddy, and to talk about the incident itself. But we would do some pre-processing with that, also with Teddy. You would have to consent to want to be a part of that. We'd also talk about, how well you are capable to do that. And for Teddy, if Teddy's not capable, then we would not be able to go in a restorative justice path, and we would have to look at other avenues, possibly criminal. But really it comes down to, in many ways, if we're doing restorative justice, what is it that you most want to see in terms of a resolvement for you, and then how can we talk with Teddy about this, see what things he thinks about this, what he's capable to do, and what else, other supports we might be able to give to you and to him to make that resolution work.
Yeah. So is it like mediation almost? It's like this. Does this have to be like the first step? And trying to see, because of course I'm willing to try anything. Yeah. Of course, some kind of action.
Yeah. It's not like mediation because it's not like the two of you presenting your sides and then someone else deciding. This is something that you and he would be engaged in together, and there would be facilitators there to help you to move on the process, but we would also do some pre-processing. Each person taking time to examine their role in the situation as it is here right now, and then pre-thinking also, what are some things that I want to do or to have done to make this into a peaceful resolvement? There's not always a guarantee, but in this case what it is a way to resolve it, not necessarily using the criminal justice system and involving a criminal justice outcome, but by making real changes both for him and for you, that you can live there.
Okay, you know, it sounds nice.
Mhm.
And as we know, as you said, there's systems that, on paper it sounds nice, but I'll be very curious one to see. Like, I am willing to do this. It's more along the lines of, if he's not willing, he's just not budging on anything. If it gets, what does that look like then?
Right. And because Liz is the named victim in this case, although you are an
And she's not
ancillary-
answering me, so I don't even know if she would
Yeah.
show up. So what does that mean for me?
Well, it's still possible for you and Teddy to come to some resolutions in terms of your connections. Again, if Liz does not want to participate, since she was named in this particular area, then it's up to her. Does she want to pursue this in a criminal aspect? Does she want to drop it? Does she want to just let you work out the harms that you have incurred by a horse being shot on your property? So those are some of the options.
Okay.
Because again, right now you're not named as the victim in the case, but you are an ancillary harmed person because it was on your property and it was one of your clients who was
Yeah.
harmed.
Okay. I feel like I got a question, but this is just overwhelming,
Yeah,
so I'm
and you
trying
know
to
what?
figure out.
You don't have to decide today. What
Yeah.
I'd like you to do is to think about, we have some forms I can give to you. You can look at them and you can think about how much you want to be involved, how much
Oh,
capacity
sorry.
you have.
It came back, so I have to say it while it's fresh on my mind because
Quite
I'll
all
forget. So let's say, worst case scenario, no one's willing to try this out. It
Yeah.
gets dropped. What am I gonna do? Because the thing is I'm calling the police,
Mhm.
and they've given me things of like, oh well, when it's not proof that he was there, so recommend security cameras. I get security cameras. There was a time where I swear I saw him on our property, but they told me, oh, his whole body's on it, so I can't prove that he was doing anything illegal. It's on my property.
Right.
So in that case, it's like I feel like I'm just hitting barriers.
Right.
So
So it's what do you do? And that's where you can talk with one of our other court components where giving him an official notice to not be on your property. So if the cameras do catch him on your property because you've given a notice,
Mhm.
and again, it's taking it out of the restorative component, moving it more into the criminal path,
Yeah.
that, he would be on notice. But with the restorative, the idea is that you two have an agreement, you have a signed
Right.
contract, and hopefully he will make a change, and it's something you can live with. If not, those paths are always available to you to bring charges against him for trespassing, to doing some due process aspects of notifying him of that,
Mhm.
so that, again, if he's on the property, just by that mere aspect, he knows that you do not want him there.
Okay.
But that's another area, and we can certainly help you to speak with the people, with the courts for that. But for this first part, it's speaking with both of you to see, can you sit in a room before doing that, going through the situation, taking some deep reflection, having some guidance from the facilitators, and then doing a scripted, facilitated intervention where you both get to speak the truths as you understand them to be, to know them, and then to talk about the resolution, the one that you would like, and where he's sitting.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I know I was very like, in the beginning, but I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the system because it's like, you think if something bad like this happens, you call the police and these things can happen, and I'm just learning that it's not that easy and it's stupid. But thank you for answering my questions because I just need to know, because I always hope that these things are going to get better, but it doesn't mean that they will, so I want to prepare for all avenues because that will make me feel mentally better because I haven't been getting any answers, so I feel like at the end of it I have time to think and I have some answers.
No, that's a very good, informed way to go.
Okay.
May I call on you in about 2 to 3 days
Yeah.
to follow up on this, with also follow up that I'm going to do with Mr. Dawson. I'm also
Okay.
going to follow up with Miss Lyons to see where she's at, because she was the initial complainant. And then from there, talk with you, and then go forward with whatever process is going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's quite all right. I think the biggest thing is that no one's communicating with me, so it's nice to hear somebody will communicate with me, because whatever happens, it is what it is, but I just want to be in the know. So
I will
Yeah.
contact you in 2 to 3 days, as I contact these other people. I promise you I will do that. And then we'll talk about what information was gathered from those meetings, and then from that information, making decisions about how to go forward.
Okay.
Sounds very good. And the number I have here for you, 518-823-724. Is that the proper number to call you at?
Yes, yes.
All right. Then I will call you in a few days. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good day.